Hallmark Refining manufactures 3 different types of silver recovery equipment for 1-hour photolabs. The type of equipment you have in your lab is dependent on the volume you process and the environmental regulations in your area. These units are the Mark 7 WXI, the Mark 3 XE, and the Mark 7L. The majority of the photolabs use the Mark 7L. The Mark 7L silver recovery unit will be used for the column change demonstration. Regardless of which unit you have in your photolab, the procedure would be the same. To perform a column change, you will need gloves, apron, and goggles, a large container for capturing liquids, the drain flush hose, paper towels. Photochemicals must be flushed out of the column to prepare it for shipment. The holding tank that reads "No ink, no developer" must be filled with water and allowed to pump out twice. Use the drain flush hose to do this. This is a lengthy process. It is best to begin this procedure the night before the column change occurs. A full holding tank will take 6 to 7 hours to drain. Once the column is flushed with water, the column is classified as scrap iron. It is not considered hazardous waste at this point. You are now ready to begin the actual column change procedure. Put on your protective gear. Always use caution when lifting the columns. Most columns weigh over 60 pounds. Open the shipping box for the new column from the bottom. Turn the box upside down to lift the shipping box off of the column and remove the new column from the plastic bag. Remove the return shipping document pouch and place it in a safe place so it will not get lost. Do not discard the packing materials or shipping documents. They will be used to return the exhausted column. Turn the power off on the control box of the silver recovery unit. There are 2 sample valves on the tubing assemblies connecting the silver recovery columns. Remove the black plugs in the bottom of the sample valves by twisting them counterclockwise. Using a large container, start with the sample valve on the drain line connected to the sink. Turn the lever vertical to open the gray sample valve. The liquid in the hose will be released into the container. There may be pressure on these valves. Always open them slowly and point the valve away from you. Next, perform the same procedure on the sample valve on the bridge assembly between the columns. Replace the plugs. All solution collected should be poured back into the holding tank of the silver recovery unit. It is now safe to remove the quick disconnect elbows from the columns. The primary column is connected to the pump. The secondary column is connected to the sink. Remove the quick disconnect elbows. It is best to use several paper towels to absorb any liquid still in the hoses. Through the paper towel, push the large gray button on the quick disconnect elbow to unlock it and slowly lift up to remove it. Disconnect the red elbow from the pump to the primary column and temporarily place the red elbow in the holding tank. Disconnect the gray elbow from the primary column to remove the bridge assembly. Disconnect the red elbow on the secondary column and place the bridge assembly in a bucket. Before the bridge is reinstalled, it must be flushed. Iron deposits build up in the tubing and can block the flow. Cleaning of the bridge should be done at the sink. Water should be able to go in the red elbow and come out of the gray elbow without any difficulties. Be sure the hose is free-flowing before reinstalling it. Locate the drain flush hose. This should be used for weekly maintenance. Disconnect the gray elbow on the last column. This is connected to the drain line of the Silver Recover unit. Connect one end of the drain flush hose to the faucet and connect the gray male quick disconnect to the gray elbow removed from the last column. Flush the drain hose for several minutes before continuing. This is the same procedure you should be performing weekly. Once the drain flush is completed, disconnect the gray elbow and set it aside for connection to the new column. Always use caution when lifting the columns. Most columns weigh over 60 pounds. The primary column is connected to the pump. The secondary column is connected to the sink. Lift the primary column that was connected to the pump from the containment tray and place it on the floor out of the way. The first column collects the silver directly from the holding tank of the Silver Recover unit. This is the exhausted column that needs to be returned. Slide the column in the secondary position, previously connected to the sink, to the primary position. It was the backup column and will now move over to collect silver. There should be a number 1 engraved in the bottom of the containment tray indicating the placement of the column. Place the new column in the secondary position. This is the new backup column. There should be a number 2 engraved in the bottom of the containment tray indicating the placement of the secondary column. Remove the protective shipping caps from the elbows on top of the new secondary column by pushing the large gray button at the base of the quick disconnect and lifting up on the cap. Some air will escape. This is normal. Connect the red elbow from the pump to the red insert on the primary column. Connect the gray elbow on the recently cleaned bridge to the gray insert on the primary column. Connect the red elbow on the bridge to the red insert on the brand new secondary column. Connect the gray elbow from the Silver Recover unit drain line to the gray insert on the brand new secondary column. Fill the holding tank with cold water. The new column must be primed with water prior to the introduction of photochemicals. The pump on the Silver Recover unit will pump the water into the new column. Because the new column must fill with water, it will be 2 to 4 hours before liquid will be present at the drain. Power on the Silver Recover unit and check for leaks. Reset the hour meter by pushing the bottom reset button. This must be held for 15 seconds until 2 beeps are heard. Use permanent marker to write the date of the column changeout on the label of the columns. The primary column should have 2 dates: the date the column was installed in the secondary position and the date the column was installed in the primary position. Put the attached shipping caps onto the red and gray column inserts. Plugs are provided if the inserts are damaged or leaking. Fill out the shipment packing slip. Using the large plastic bag provided with the new column, place the exhausted column in the bag. Use the zip tie to seal it. Place the open end of the return shipping box over the exhausted column. Turn over the return shipping box. Place the appropriate shipping document inside the plastic sleeve and seal the shipping box with packing tape. Fill out the top part of the UPS ARS label with your store information. Affix the UPS shipping label to the outside of the box. If possible, place the new label over the old label or black out the old label. Peel off the bottom portion with the UPS tracking number. Attach this to the white copy of the packing slip being maintained with your records.